How's it going, guys? Cody back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, this time it's a story on the Birmingham Live website, link in the description below like I always do. Headline reads: early progress in fight to improve crisis hit HMP Birmingham. Conditions turning around after riots and string of damning findings. Conditions at HMP Birmingham are finally improving after the government was forced to take back control of the crisis hit jail. The Independent Monitoring Board, they're not very independent at all, guys, which has been watching developments at the notorious Winson Green facility, said in a fresh report the new governor and regime were making early progress. New management was introduced after the jail, where prisoners rioted less than 2 years ago, was hit by deaths, soaring violence, rampant drug use, overcrowding, filthy cells and low staff morale. The IMB said inmates were commonly held in cells at HMP Birmingham for at least 20 hours a day in the year to June, with toilets unscreened, which means they've got no toilet lid for them, and lags eating meals while seated on a bed. He said there were faulty cell bells and some had exposed electrical sockets. In August, the prison's watchdog graded the jail as poor in every category and issued an urgent notification, giving 28 days to improve. Around 300 prisoners were shipped out, more than 30 extra staff were introduced, and dilapidated cells were refurbished. Has now improved safety, security and cleanliness, the IMB report said. Roger Swindles, he's the chair. We have monitored the prison in a crisis for the last 18 months and have described many incidents that have caused great concern. We felt the need to write to the Prisons Minister in May of 2018 to register our concerns over many failings. We observed G4S responded with limited success to Her Majesty's and Prisons Service and Independent Monitoring Board criticisms in the early part of 2018, but not at sufficient speed such that their improvements came too late. Since August, we have seen a step-by-step takeover by Her Majesty's Prison Probation Service to take over the running of the prison and are now seeing early signals that outcomes for prisoners are improving in terms of cleanliness, safety, security, activity and the provision of an acceptable daily regime. News of the improvement will come as a welcome relief to authorities after a leading member of the Justice Committee claimed at the weekend that some corrupt staff at HMP Birmingham acted as drug couriers for lags. Bambus Charlamus, Labour MP for London Enfield Southgate, described the decent by some employers into corruption as startling. He said prisoners ruled sections of the jail before it was temporarily taken out of G4SS's control. Mr. Shamarla stressed that interim governor Paul Newton has made great improvements. He warned, can those short-term improvements be sustained in the long term? The jury is still out. And Mr. Shambalamba, whatever he's called, pointed at the still work to be done before G4S takes the reins next year. There is still a lack of support for prisoners, he said. A lot more therapy needs to be put in place and support to stop their reoffending. Now, don't, guys, the IMB, right, don't, I will wait for a Majesty's Inspector of Prisons report into that prison. And the thing is, I can't really go into it on here, but I speak to a member of staff that works at that prison. Not going to say any more than that, but she contacts me. We speak every now and again, and she tells me like what's what within the jail. You know what I mean? You've got to keep up to date with current affairs, guys. And like I say, what's the point in bringing this prison that is below par up to scratch or an acceptable standard, right? To then give it to them jokers, G4S, who are not fit to run a bath, right? Just to go straight back down to how it was. It should stay in the public sector. Public sector, private sector, all prisons are failing, all prisoners and prisoners' families. Rehabilitation, and I say it in every vlog, is a made-up word, politician's word. So people like the Justice Secretary David Gork and the Prisons Minister Rory Stewart can wear suits, feel important whilst getting paid in excess of £100,000 a year. Sad but true, guys. Probably more than that. Probably 150 towards 200 grand. Disgusting, guys. The jury's out on my part. Just because these people say it, the best people to speak to get a feeling of what it's like in that prison isn't the IMB or the Independent Monitoring Board, isn't the prison officers, right? It is the prisoners. But the thing is, they're not allowed to be interviewed, so they keep a lid on the stories. That's why you see prisoners turning to Instagram and other social media platforms to get the story out. But they do it in the wrong way, to be fair. And it doesn't help their case. If anything, it makes the problem worse. by putting these videos online. But you need to, like I said, I'm going to try and I need to speak to someone inside that prison as a prisoner and see what they're saying. On that note, guys, I'm going to leave this video here, guys. Short, sweet, to the point. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.